Jimmy Donaldson, or Mr. Beast as most people know him, has just kind of dove headfirst into the tech world by making a bid to buy TikTok. What does this mean for creators? What does this mean for TikTok? And what does this mean for Mr. Beast himself? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, you've probably heard, but recently in January, TikTok kind of got shut down in the US because it was banned by the Biden administration, and there was a date set where it was going to be taken down, and it was down. And CapCut was down, and Lemon8, which is also owned by TikTok, was down. But the reason that it was ever kind of deemed illegal or wanted to be taken down is because it's owned by the Chinese government, but it's a Chinese company. And so, there's personal data and a lot of different things that come into play when you're signed up to a social media app like TikTok. They have all of your information. They're kind of reviewing how you're using the app and just all those kind of things. So that was kind of the concern that was put in place. But you know what? Now that we know Trump is the new president, he overturned that actually pretty quickly. And within, I think, less than a day, the app was back up, CapCut was back up, and everything kind of just went back to normal. But Trump did kind of put it out there that he'd be willing to sell kind of the American branch of TikTok to the highest bidder, right? And there's a lot of people that he brought up. Mr. Beast was one. Elon Musk kind of threw his name in there. Some other tech like multi-billionaire or billionaire that owns employer.com also is in the mix to kind of get a bunch of people to try to purchase this American side of TikTok. And Trump valued that at $1 trillion. So Grant, what was your first impression when you heard that being valued at $1 trillion? What'd you think?
I did a quadruple take. Like I looked away from my phone, back at my phone, and was like, TN, that's $1 trillion, right? That's $1 trillion. That is so much money. I mean, hey, we're officially in the 21st century now, right? Like we're talking about trillions now. And I feel like that I mean, I don't even know how you decide what TikTok is worth with all of its users, all of its data. And it's immense. It's unfathomably huge. So, I mean, $1 trillion, sure. I say sure. And another interesting thing was I believe Trump only delayed the ban of TikTok by 55 days, technically. Now, he could continue delaying it indefinitely, of course, but it does seem like at some point, some Americans are going to have to buy the app in order for this to like really solidify. So, as far as Mr. Beast buying it and him being kind of one of the big names that are interested in it, I say why not? I think it's a good idea. I don't think TikTok should be banned. I think it's good that YouTube has competition. I think, there are ways to make sure TikTok is safe and that the Chinese government isn't collecting data. I mean, they've probably already collected a lot if they have been doing that. Maybe properly. That's a whole other discussion. But I'm very much in favor of Americans buying TikTok. And I mean, who's got the money? Mr. Beast has the money. I'd rather Mr. Beast was an owner than like Google or Larry Ellison of Oracle. It just seems like why not? I'm in favor of it. Who else is going to buy it?
Yeah, if anybody knows social media, it's him. And I think, I think for the most part, he'll do the right things in trying to be fair with the app and whatever. He might buy it and all of a sudden now the algorithm is just promoting a bunch of Mr. Beast videos. That's a possibility, but that wouldn't happen, because that would tank the platform. And the reason this platform is worth trillions of dollars is because ad revenue. Right? People are running ads. I think TikTok has solidified itself as a pretty successful ad platform. And so a lot of revenue coming in there, a really bright future for it if it can stay unbanned and become American owned. But my question to you is, like, if Mr. Beast is successful in doing this, like, what is his motive? Like, why is he interested, do you think, in acquiring TikTok? Do you think it's just a business move, or do you think there's another agenda there?
I think it's mostly a business move. I think, he's always looking for new ways to make a profit because his videos, as he's talked about, aren't really profitable. That's why he's done Mr. Beast Burger and Feastables and all of these things are, he's essentially just using YouTube as a promotion like a way of promoting his other businesses. So I see him buying TikTok as it's a business move, and perhaps a power move too. He is entrenching himself deeper into social media in the platforms and becoming, I mean, that would sort of make him uncancelable, right? Which is sort of scary, but I would rather someone like MrBeast own TikTok than like Google owned it, because Google already owns YouTube, right? Like I think monopolies are really bad. I think MrBeast does understand how the platform works, and he just seems like whoever buys it needs to really understand the value of these platforms and how they work. And when I say value, I don't just mean like dollar value. I mean like cultural value.
Yeah.
And I do feel like MrBeast has a good grasp on that. He is obviously not free from controversy, which makes me nervous. But I mean, I don't know, who do I trust? A corporation more than I trust MrBeast? Not really. I mean, why would I? Like, you think Google's innocent? You think you think Oracle is innocent? Like, let's be real here.
Yeah, and I'll also, like, I feel like it's good timing for MrBeast because like he's gone through the fire. I feel like he's learned the lessons. Like he's probably a changed man at this point, as far as like just understanding that.
Maybe.
Hey, maybe you don't want to put words in his mouth, but to be honest, like if this was somebody that's kind of squeaky clean and you don't really know too much about, like, I don't know, I wouldn't trust it as much. I feel like MrBeast has already gotten his hand slapped enough to where if he was going to do it, he's going to do it for the right reasons. It's kind of all started with Elon Musk, right? He purchased Twitter, changed the name to X, and a common theme on there is MrBeast asking Elon Musk on there, like, hey, if you need a CEO, holler at your boy. I'll be the CEO of this thing. Or if you want to sell it, there was a point where Elon Musk was like, the value went down and maybe they were talking about selling it. Like MrBeast was interested.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
I didn't know about that.
Elon Musk's play was more about the free speech thing, right? Like he thought that all these tech companies were suppressing the right-wing agenda too much and there should be free speech. And so that was one of the reasons he purchased it. Do you think that MrBeast has some sort of agenda like that as well? Or do you think it's more specifically, like you said, money?
Well, I think everybody has an agenda. Like, you can't be free from your ego, right? So I think part of it is money and part of it is just, it's something to do. It's more power. It's becoming more influential. I think MrBeast has always been somebody who pushes the limits. Like, he's not necessarily content with where he is right now. He wants to see what's next. And I think having a huge platform like TikTok and literally being an owner or a partial owner, I think his agenda is just to become more than he's already doing now. He's more rich, more powerful, more influential. And that's not all bad. I mean, that sounds ominous. And I think whenever somebody is as successful as MrBeast or Elon Musk or whoever, there's usually something about them that's a little they're not normal. They don't think like we do, and that is a little scary, I think. But also, like, I don't know, someone's got to run this shit. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, who else is going to do it? I don't trust the government to run it. I don't know what a better option is. Perhaps somebody knows, but to me, MrBeast seems like the best option.
Yeah, and I agree with that. As long as he's got like a good board around him and everything set, I do think that he's probably one of the best options. And I think he'll do it the right way and only focus on making the algorithm better, making the ad platform better. I think he's savvy in regards to those things. So, but let's talk a little bit now about like, creators becoming tech entrepreneurs or just creators becoming businessmen. This is like a new thing, right? Like, let's create a bunch of prank videos when we're 19 years old. By the time we're 25, let's have a big YouTube channel and then let's launch a business, whether Milk Boys with Happy Dad beverages or, MrBeast with all the stuff he does. Like, could this be like a new precedent for creators to become tech owners, do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you get big on a tech platform, like that's kind of the next stage, right? Is to sort of become a part of the infrastructure. I think that makes total sense. And, we've seen creators starting businesses all the time. Usually it's like a coffee company or something.
Yeah.
But I think once you reach a certain level, like MrBeast has, companies like that become small potatoes. And then you're like, well, okay, what about a tech company? I think it just makes sense. I don't think it's going to be the norm. I think it's so rare to achieve a level of wealth where that's even on the table.
Yeah.
I don't think the Nelk boys can afford TikTok. I don't think MrBeast can either.
Yeah.
But like he could get a loan for it. I don't know, like a loan for $1 trillion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he probably doesn't have the money sitting in cash in the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he sells off Feastables or he sells off something. He's right there, or gets another investor.
Or he's a partial owner.
Exactly.
That is probably what's more likely to happen. Is he goes in on it with several other people, potentially corporations, and he's on the board of directors, so to speak. Maybe he's like the CEO, but there's no way it's only going to be him. It's just too vast. It's too expensive.
Totally. Yeah. So let's say this does happen. Let's throw a little hypothetical out there. Let's say this happens. How does TikTok change? Does it change? What's different on TikTok after MrBeast owns it?
I mean, I would expect it to become more like YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really go on TikTok, but it's still only vertical video, right? So I would.
It is. You can actually upload horizontal video, wide version, but it's not turn your phone sideways ability, right? You're still watching a vertical video, but it's just a little
with like the black bars above and below it.
Yes, yeah. But they do allow longer videos now, so it's not just 60-second videos. You can upload long form,
right? And so does YouTube. But I see TikTok becoming more like YouTube. There's TikTok, you just swipe, and it keeps throwing videos at you. Whereas YouTube, there's more of a feed. There's a search feature, not like a social media platform, but like you can kind of click around. It feels like Netflix, right?
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, choose your own adventure.
On demand.
Yeah. Whereas TikTok is kind of like, we're going to throw whatever we want at you because we're good at figuring out what you actually want. I mean, TikTok's algorithm is so good, though. That could be dangerous. I guess I just I feel like these social media platforms, whatever they are always trying to become like each other, like they're trying to add features and take ideas from other platforms. And like, they're all sort of slowly becoming the same thing. I would see TikTok becoming more similar to YouTube, sort of like that.
Yeah. I agree. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind is shared ad revenue. Shared ad revenue, right? That's what makes YouTube the best platform. Is the creators can literally make a living there, and they can get substantial ad revenue. And TikTok doesn't have that. Instagram Reels or whatever, Meta, Facebook, that stuff. They don't have that great ad revenue share. So I do think that it'll become a little bit more creator focused, creator led, creator. More input from creators, which is all a good thing for the platform, and possibly too, like more, ad platform related, I think Meta or Facebook has done just like the best job, right? All of a sudden they said, okay, we're going to show ads. This is our platform. It's been revised 100 times, but it's at the point now where, when you look at digital marketers, they recommend you go put some ads on Facebook. They think Facebook can get your videos and your content in front of people that are interested in what you're talking about, and it's the algorithm there. And with TikTok's algorithm, right, I think everyone really respects TikTok's algorithm. I think it does serve you videos that for whatever reason you enjoy. They know what you like. And so, maybe there's a combination of this ad platform getting way better due to the algorithm on TikTok and the data that they have on their users. And MrBeast could be a part of that. That's just kind of my idea about what would change over there. But all in all, I think you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to mess it up. So do you think that there would be any sort of maybe partnership that could happen between YouTube and TikTok with MrBeast owning it? I mean, he has no ownership of YouTube or anything, but do you think could be any kind of crossover there that would happen?
Probably not, because they're competitors, right? I think that would, at least I would hope not, because that is sort of inching towards a monopoly, right? Of them merging to become one mega corporation. Like, I would rather they not cooperate. I think they should be mortal enemies. Rivals is probably a better word. I think that's better for the ecosystem. It's better for the users. It's better for everybody. Like, my biggest issue with the TikTok ban was, I mean, one, it sucks. And two, it just feels like who's YouTube's competition? Instagram. I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same, bro.
Yeah, it's not the same. And I think that if that deal was to happen, I think YouTube would be shaking in its boots a little bit, because not only is TikTok now owned by somebody else in America, right? And it's going to be safe in America. But imagine if MrBeast says, "Hey, I'm jumping ship. I'm going to be a full-time TikTok creator. YouTube, you guys are out. It was a nice run. Thank you so much. And I'm taking all these other creators with me," right? He could really influence the top creators to come over to TikTok and be, full-time TikTok creators. Cause you see it happen on like Twitch, right? Twitch will say, "Hey, we'll pay you, $5 million or, 50 grand a live stream to come do it exclusively on Twitch, not on YouTube, not on these other streaming platforms, not on Facebook, on Twitch." And creators do that. They'll sign right up for that, go over there, make their money, stop streaming on YouTube. So something similar could happen on TikTok. MrBeast starting to influence and pay creators to come on over and be exclusive on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. I hope that doesn't happen. I also think like MrBeast can't even get sponsors to pay him enough money for what his views are worth. So the idea that anybody could pay him enough to exclusively go to another platform, I mean, God, that would be such an absurd amount of money. Like, that would be so much money. I think what's most likely to happen is he would cross post, or he would post certain like different styles of videos on TikTok than he does on YouTube. It's more of expanding his brand rather than moving it somewhere else. Yeah. That seems like a very bold and risky move, even if the money's there. In the long run, it seems too risky. So I would expect him to cross post if he became even a partial owner of TikTok. I don't think he would ever do it exclusively unless, I don't even know, like there would have to be some absurd amount of money involved for that to even be feasible for him.
It's not going to happen, but you do know that YouTube would be shaking in their boots if he does get ownership there. And if him and Elon Musk both become partial owners there, like Elon Musk has got some real social media power at that point. Like, that's a little bit scary, to be honest, because he's like one social media platform away from being a monopoly. If you got X,
yeah, that's the thing.
You got TikTok, yeah, and then you also.
I don't want him to be involved.
Yeah, you could see him getting Snapchat. I mean, I think Elon Musk is considered the richest man in the world at this point. He's definitely top 5 with all the companies he owns and stuff, net worth wise. So yeah, a little bit scary. I don't like the idea of just. To be honest, I just don't like the idea of these social media platforms even being for sale. I don't like that idea in general, because they could fall into the wrong hands. At that point, they definitely could fall into the wrong hands. And that freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, I guess this is an interesting question, because right now, TikTok being owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese company, which is subservient to the CCP, the Chinese government. Is that better than MrBeast owning it? It's like, it was funny seeing everybody kind of flood over to Red Note, and then Chinese and American citizens talking to each other and becoming friends. That was like beautiful and wonderful to me. But like, it's the American government and the Chinese government that I'm worried about. Like, I don't necessarily trust the Chinese government either. Like, who are we supposed to trust here? It kind of feels like, I guess I would rather have an American entrepreneur, a self-made guy like MrBeast, be involved than only having the Chinese government. Even if he was like on the board there, if he was it just seems like that would be safer. Yeah, it's a weird question, like, yeah, because you're right, like TikTok changing hands. it's not necessarily better. It's really not. And what is China even going to do with this data? I mean, who knows? I guess if like some dumb U.S. government employee is like putting their data in, and I don't know, they're getting, I don't know what they would be looking for. They know where the nuclear power plants are or something. Yeah, it's crazy, man. This world is crazy.
It's crazy too, because, and the reason we're even discussing like, oh, is this scary or not, is because like they control the minds of millions and billions of people in a way. Because, people are addicted to these apps, are opening them, they're looking at them, especially children, right? So there's like this big responsibility for these companies to make sure they do the right things to not just destroy mankind, So that's really the responsibility that they hold. And it's the responsibility that we hold as creators ourselves, like we're putting content out there. People are watching it. Like, what message are you spreading, And I think as people are watching this video right now that are video creators themselves, like, think to yourself, like, what kind of content are you doing? Are you doing good in the world? Are you doing bad in the world? And, I think we all have a responsibility, at least somewhat, to just do the right thing, do the right thing, owning it, creating the content, whatever you're doing, do the right thing. So, all right, Grant, any final thoughts on MrBeast? Final answer. Do you want him to actually own it, or do you want him to just kind of pass on this opportunity?
I would rather he own it than any of the other names I see on that list. I don't want Elon Musk to own it. He already owns X. I don't want Larry Ellison to own it. I don't know. He never had like a great reputation in Silicon Valley. I kind of grew up around there. So, unless some other new name gets thrown into the hat, I don't see anybody who would be better.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. So I say thumbs up for now to MrBeast.
Yeah, I'll say thumbs up. I'll say thumbs up to MrBeast too, because I would love to make a follow-up episode, and I just want to see where this thing goes, man. Burn it down, MrBeast. Burn it down. We need we need content. We need content. Nah, just joking. But I hope you guys liked today's episode. If you guys did and you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment. Let us know what other kind of topics you want us to cover. And if you're listening on any audio platform, hit that follow button as well. This episode is brought to you by vidchops.com, which allows you to add an expert video editor to your team. So if you want an editor, head over to vidchops.com, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.